How did this song with Bruno happen?
How did it happen?
It's a pretty spectacular
This is a
story.
question I think I ask myself every night lately. I'm like, well, how did this happen? This is crazy. But so I had the song ABT. Like I think it was end of last year. It was one of the first few sessions actually. It was like the first trip out in LA. And I was like in a session. I think it was like with Circuit, Irma, Amy, Rosé, and Tiron. And it was like, obviously, Tiron's in the room. It's like, it's going to be a fun session. But the night before, I had just like taught the guys at the studio how to play Korean drinking games. So we were so bored. And I was like, and they were obsessed with this particular game. They was like, pata, pata, pata. Anyway, so the next day we like wrote this song and it was crazy. It was really fun, but then we kind of left it there, and then I brought it back out like a year later. And then I signed to Atlantic, and I told them that I'm actually like the biggest. Somebody said something like Coldplay, Bruno, and I was like, Bruno Mars is signed under this label. I was like, told them the funniest story about me going to a Bruno Mars concert a year before. So like last year, he came to Seoul to perform in Korea. My friend was like, "Do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything." Okay, and that was the day I realized. I was like, "Wow, I had no idea. I'm a Bruno Mars fan. I'm like a huge fan." And I remember freaking out the whole, like, I don't know how long the concert was, but I was like, he better stop. It's like, the songs were too good, like it just wouldn't stop. And I was freaking out. I was like,
It's like at 10 the whole time. Like the energy doesn't stop.
Time. And I was like, I am the biggest Bruno Mars fan. Like, period. I'm the biggest fan. And so for a year, I'd just been listening to, like, I just got my driver's license, so I'd always just like play Bruno Mars. So I was just a big fan. And then there's like a funny story where like that day I was like so excited after the concert watching it, and I told Atlantic the story about me. Like, they were like, "Are you coming to the after party? Apparently Bruno Mars is going to be there." And I was like, "He's not going to be at the after party. He's not going to be there." And they're like, "He is. Like, apparently he's going to be there." I'm like, "Bruno Mars will never show up at the after party." So I didn't go, and I just like I forced my friends to hang out with me, and so we were like hanging out, and then they had to all go home. So like I was like headed back home, but then my friends were like, "Bruno Mars is at the after party." So I took the taxi. I was like, "Please go back to where we were." And we went, and then I like walked in with my hoodie and cap. I had like no one with me. I just got out of the cab and like walked in, and I was like, "Where is he?" And they were like, "He's not here." And so my friend lied. She was like, she wanted me there, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I ended up just staying there for 4 minutes, taxied all the way back, and it was like really disappointing because I was like, I wanted to see Bruno Mars.
Wait, can we ask how long was the taxi ride back there from home?
It was like 15 minutes. 15.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad.
So it's not too bad. It's
Yeah.
not like you went like 30 minutes out of your way.
Yeah. And so I told them the story. Sorry, it's a long story, and I'm a bad storyteller because I just give too much detail. But I tell them the story, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just like a huge fan." And then they got like, then I like met him, and I was like, "Wow, I feel like really special. I get to meet Bruno Mars." And then fast forward, he asks us to pitch him 3 songs, and so I squeezed in APT. And in my head, everyone was like, "What about this one though?" I was like, shouldn't it be APT and APT only? Doesn't that make total sense? And so in my head, I envisioned it completely. I was like, yeah, it'd be crazy if he jumps on APT. And instantly he texts me. He's like, "What does APT mean?" And I'm like, "It's a Korean drinking game." And he's like, "This is crazy." And he jumped on it, and the rest is history. It's been a crazy ride.
Which, by the way, if you go to her Instagram, you can see the game played. So it's short for apartment, but it's pronounced apate.
Yes.
And then it's
because in Korean,
right.
apate is apartment, means apartment.
Okay.
So it's like apate. Yeah.
The thing about APT that you mentioned is that it's one of the few times you let kind of Bruno run when helping and create the creative for a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about the video and the creative that you and Bruno worked on together?
He got a lot of inspiration from like, because obviously he had the big homework he knows that this is my first single. So it's like, that's a lot of pressure on him probably. But a lot of the scenes inside were inspired by like, just like funny things. Like I think I mean, I can't speak for him. He might be like, Rosé, that's not true. But from my memory, it was like inspired by a lot of things that like from like me, and to the looks as well. I was like, what kind of vibe are we going for? And he'd be like this is a cool vibe, that's a cool vibe, and he'd like drop hints there, here and there, and like that ended up building up to become to this world, and it was really fun to watch because just him being inspired and just dropping these like comments here and there, and I was like, oh, interesting, okay, and that was all at the video set. It was like all built up. And I was like, wow, like he meant it when he just drops these like things. It's like he means it and he executes it.
If there's anyone who means anything, it's Bruno Mars, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That is a strong personality.
He's
in the best way possible. I love Bruno. Yeah. And I like, was it like a group chat? Was it like a Bruno Mars had a Pinterest board and was like, we're gonna do this? That's
the norm. When in the process of things, people like get together like a whole like mood board, and then like you pick. No, it for him, it's things he picks up along the way and gets inspired by it. And maybe he doesn't even notice when he like drops it, but like that's what it is. If he ever says something, it's like that's it, and it's always the answer. He's really good.